Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all some of the realest advice you'll ever get. It ain't coming from a book, it ain't coming from the internet. It's coming from a southern mama who's done been there and done that and can tell you all about it. And some of it you may not even like, but it is the truth. Lesson number 1, pay attention to people. You can learn a whole lot about people without them ever saying a word. How they act, how they treat people, what they do when they think nobody's watching. With that being said, don't trust somebody who's nice to you but rude to the waiter, because that right there tells you everything you need to know. Because that kindness, that ain't real, that's selective. And you ever notice how some people always show up when things are going good? Not everybody clapping for you wants you to win. Some of them just want to be close enough to see what's happening. And have you ever been around somebody and suddenly your whole mood just changes? If peace went out the door when they walked in, pay attention. Because that ain't random. That's your heart picking up on something that your mind hadn't caught yet. Because some people ain't blessings, they're lessons. And some people ain't your assignment, they're your test. You don't need more signs. You just need to start listening to the ones you already have. Lesson number 2, stop holding on to all the wrong things. Now this right here, this is where people get stuck. You ever just know something ain't right? Like you don't even need anybody to tell you because you can just feel it. You can't find peace if you keep running back to whatever broke you. And sometimes we still go back, telling ourselves, well, maybe it'll be different this time. It ain't. If God had to drag you out of it, don't you go walking back. I bet there was times where you had to be forced out of a situation. And the first thing you did was try to go back like nothing ever happened. I've done it too. But you gotta stop watering dead plants. You ain't reviving nothing. You're just wasting time on something that already died. And you gotta stop feeding things that keep biting you. At some point, you gotta admit, it ain't them. It's what you keep allowing. Lesson 3, you can't save everybody. And this right here is the thing that'll wear people out. You ever get so caught up helping people that you forget to think about yourself? You pour into them, you try to fix them, you try to hold everything together for people. And all it's doing is draining you. You can't set yourself on fire trying to keep people warm. That ain't love, that's self-destruction. And you can't be everything to everybody and still be whole. At some point, you gotta choose your own peace. You ever deal with somebody that don't actually want to be better? You can't fix people that enjoy being broken. And that's the part people don't like to admit. Maybe you're tired because you're carrying people God told you to put down. And that right there will wear you out. Lesson 4, trust God's redirection. Now this one's hard for us to accept. You ever wanted something so bad and it just would not work out? You tried everything, prayed about it, pushed it, did everything you could, but it just would not work. Sometimes it ain't rejection, it's redirection. You thought it was meant for you, but it really just looked good from where you was standing. And maybe you feel lost, but maybe you ain't really lost, you're just somewhere God didn't tell you to be. Some of y'all ain't confused, you're just somewhere you wasn't supposed to stay. If God closed that door, quit jiggling the handle. Leave it alone. Sometimes God don't open that door because what's behind it bites. You don't see what you was protected from. You're just mad the door didn't open. If it drained you, delayed you, or dimmed you, maybe it wasn't sent for you. And everything that looks like a blessing ain't. Sometimes the devil shows up looking like everything you ever prayed for, and that's what fools people. Lesson 5. Stop forcing stuff that don't fit. Now this one right here, people will wear themselves out for no reason. You ever tried so hard to make something work that just won't? You keep pushing, adjusting, telling yourself it'll all come together, and it just never does. If you gotta force it, maybe it ain't meant to be. And that goes for jobs, genes, and people. And that's your first sign right there. You're trying to squeeze into something that was never made for you. It don't matter if you're the best apple on the tree. Everybody don't like apples, and that's okay. That don't make you less. That just means you ain't for everybody. You spend so much time trying to be liked instead of just being where you belong. You ain't stuck. You're just comfortable in the wrong place, and comfort will keep you somewhere you outgrew. Lesson 6. You already know the answer. Now this one can kind of suck sometimes. You ever ask for advice even though you already know what you're supposed to do, but you ask anyway just hoping somebody will tell you something different? Sometimes God don't answer you because you already know the answer. You just don't like it. You want a different answer instead of the right answer. And half the time you don't ask too many other people anyways. Which brings me to my next point. Don't tell everybody your business, because most people ain't praying, they're listening. And they remember it. You tell the wrong person and now your whole situation has an audience. At some point, you got to stop asking and start doing. Lesson number 7, know your worth. Now this one right here, this will change the way you move. You ever been somewhere and just deep down you just felt off? And you're trying to act normal, but something deep inside you just keeps telling you this ain't it. But you stay anyway, because you don't want to start over and you want to fit in. And the longer you stay, the more uncomfortable you get. Which brings me to this. Don't ever beg for a seat at a table that Jesus would flip over. If you gotta beg, you're already out of place. You ever notice how when you actually belong somewhere, you ain't gotta force it. You ain't gotta prove nothing. You ain't gotta convince nobody. You just are. You don't need to prove yourself. You maybe need to remove yourself. And that's hard because people get attached to places they outgrew. Because it might look right, it might sound right, it might even feel right for just a second. But something in you, it just don't sit right. And that's the part you can't ignore. Just because it looks good don't mean it is good, and it definitely don't mean it's God. You gotta pay attention to how it feels. Not just in the moment, but after. Because anything meant for you ain't gonna cost you your peace to keep it. Now, I ain't saying I got it all figured out. Matter of fact, I'd say I ain't got much of nothing figured out. But I've lived long enough to know this much. Life gets a whole lot more simple when you stop fighting what's obvious and start listening to what you already know. And you probably already knew all this. Maybe you just needed to hear it out loud. It don't matter if you're the best apple on the tree. Everybody don't like apples. Don't trust nobody who's nice to you but rude to the waiter. Don't marry nobody you couldn't sit next to for 10 hours on a road trip. Sometimes God clears the table because the wrong people sat down. Don't tell everybody your business. Most people ain't praying, they're listening. Not everybody clapping for you wants you to win. If peace left when they walked in, pay attention. Sometimes the reason you're tired is because you're carrying people God told you to put down. Some people ain't blessings, they're lessons. You can't set yourself on fire trying to keep other people warm.